Four top 10 teams highlight Sparty's schedule for 2023. Let's break it down right here at the Voice of College Football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. Please lock it in. All right, let's check out Michigan State after a 5-7 campaign in Mel Tucker's third season in East Lansing. Of course, the Spartans went 3-6 in the Big Ten and missed bowl play after 11-2 in a Peach Bowl victory in 2021. Michigan State opens the season against Central Michigan, a team that Michigan State leads in the all-time series at 8-3. And the most recent meeting in 2018, then the Spartans host Richmond. The Spiders come to town on September 9th, followed by the date against Washington. So this is a home-and-home series between Michigan State and Washington. Of course, the Spartans switched roles to a certain extent with the Huskies. Third game of the season in 2022, Michigan State went to Seattle as the 11th ranked team in the country, coming off a top 10 finish in 2021, and the Huskies had to prove themselves. They were 4-8 the season before, and Washington did in a big way and really showed where the team stood despite the rankings at that point in the season as Washington blew out Michigan State. Final score only 39-28, but Washington the much better team. Michael Penix is back, so the Huskies come to Michigan State on September 16th and lead the all-time series 3-1, including the 1997 Sun Bowl with Nick Saban on the sideline for Sparty. Game number 4, September 23rd, is the Big Ten opener against Maryland. The Spartans lead the series at 10-3, but Maryland won the matchup last season 27-13. And then a trip to Kinnick Stadium to take on Iowa. This is a closely competitive series all time at 24-22 Iowa. The Hawkeyes did bludgeon Mel Tucker's team in 2020, 49-7. Bye week, and then Michigan State goes on the road to take on Rutgers. They lead the all-time series at 10-4, and Michigan State has won 8 of 9 since the Scarlet Knights joined the Big Ten in 2014. Then comes a difficult closing stretch starting October 21st. Michigan at home. Of course, the tunnel incident following the Wolverines' win last season at the Big House 29-7. Michigan has dominated this series at 72-38 all time. Then the trip to Minnesota as Michigan State takes on the Golden Gophers and lead the all-time series at 30-18, but not a pretty effort as Minnesota blasted Michigan State this past season 34-7. Then the first weekend of November is Nebraska at home. Of course, the Huskers only went 4-8 this past season, but now have a new lease on life with Matt Rule leading the program. Nebraska leads the all-time series at 9-3, but Michigan State picked up that 2021 overtime win against the Huskers in East Lansing. Then it's a trip to Ohio State, and Mel Tucker has taken it on the chin against the Buckeyes 3 consecutive seasons to a tune of 157-39 on the scoreboard. But Michigan State, of course, has a history of pulling off big upsets against Ohio State. The all-time series is Buckeyes 36-15. Michigan State at Indiana on November 18th. Spartans lead the all-time series 49-18 with a couple ties. Indiana came back in overtime to pull out a 2022 win against Michigan State in East Lansing. And then the finale, of course, against Penn State on November 25th. Penn State, a top 10 team coming off a Rose Bowl win with Sean Clifford finally hanging them up. And Drew Aller will be the starting quarterback at Penn State. This is an all-time series that surprised me at 18-18 all-time after Penn State won last season's matchup 35-16. Now we'll have to go through the entire Power 5 to know how difficult this schedule truly is, but on the surface it looks pretty tough. If you compile all the records of all the teams on this schedule in the Power 5, 83-45 last season in 2022, 87-53 if you throw in the MAC school, Central Michigan. Compare that to last season, and Michigan State's opponents were 93-60, 86-43 Power 5, so about roughly the same difficulty of schedule. But again, 4 top 10 opponents from 2022 on this schedule, and the teams in the Big Ten that Michigan State faces went 44-37 in conference play last season. Basically, you're taking last season's opponents of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois and replacing them with Minnesota again. Repeat performance this time at Minneapolis. And then Michigan State takes on from the West, Iowa, and also Nebraska. That's the Michigan State slate for 2023. Your thoughts below, as Michigan State has been riding the roller coaster post Mark D'Antonio at 2-5, 11-2, top 10 in the nation, and then a downer at 5-7 this past season under Mel Tucker. Your thoughts about the Spartans down below, right here at the Voice of College Football.